What's going on? Welcome in, guys. My name is Farzin Vasugi, and this is the Chief Zone podcast on a Thursday, one day later than we usually do it, and that is because the Chiefs are playing on Monday Night Football this week, so that means everything is pushed back one day. They started with their team install today, and getting ready now for the Commanders to come to Arrowhead, the end of a three-game homestand for the Chiefs, playing three straight games at home. One against the Lions, one against the Raiders, and looking to make it 3 for 3 as the Chiefs are once again heavy favorites over the Commanders. The Commanders coming in with some good and bad news on the injury front. They're losing some players, but they're also getting a couple of key players back that they absolutely need if they want to, at the very least, try to make it close and competitive against Kansas City. So I'll let you know what you need to know about this upcoming game on that front right there, and also I'll give you everything else you need to know about this Commanders football team, and I'll give you my score prediction for this game, and would love to know yours as well as we go on throughout tonight on the podcast. Real quickly, I want to let you know this podcast is brought to you by SeatGeek. That's where I go to for all of my sports ticketing needs. So if you want to attend the Chiefs game this weekend, or Monday night rather, at Arrowhead Stadium, we've got KU K-State playing against each other this week. Mizzou continuing to do their thing. A lot of great sports action going on right now. NBA, NHL seasons both underway. Baseball World Series going on right now. Any sports you want to catch, SeatGeek is the place for you to go to get your tickets. And if you're a new SeatGeek customer, you can use my promo code Farzine and save $20 off your first purchase from SeatGeek. Go to SeatGeek.com, pick your tickets, and at checkout, if you're a new customer, don't forget, enter my promo code Farzine and you'll save $20 off your first order from SeatGeek. All right. Appreciate you guys joining me while Thursday night football is going on. And as always, I do encourage you guys to join in on the conversation here. Not a whole lot of Chiefs news to go over. I will start with the breaking news that came about, what was it, Tuesday afternoon, I think it was, or yesterday rather, where we learned that Jayden Daniels is out and will not play on Monday Night Football against the Kansas City Chiefs due to a hamstring injury. Instead, who is going to start in his place? Here's a hint. He has been to Arrowhead before and has won a playoff game there. And no, he didn't do it as a member of the Chiefs. He did it as a member of the Titans. Here's another hint. He threw a touchdown pass to himself in this very game that I'm talking about here. That would be Marcus Mariota. Marcus Mariota will be filling. You know what's crazy? That is the last time Marcus Mariota started a game for the Chiefs. And if you guys listen to the end of the last podcast, I spent some time talking about on Monday night's podcast, because I noticed Jayden Daniels and Marcus Mariota, they're on the team, and it kind of made me realize, wait a minute. Daniels, you know, he's taken a step back this year, not just with his performance, but also his availability. And then Mariota was the second pick in the draft. He and Jaden, I'm sorry, not Jayden Daniels, Jameis Winston, they were supposed to run the league for a really long time. And unfortunately, both of those guys have become backups. And if you just go over all of the quarterbacks that have been drafted in the first round over the years, there aren't a lot like Patrick Mahomes who have been drafted in the first round, have been successful, and have stayed with the team that drafted them. There are very few quarterbacks you can say that right now in terms of QBs who have stayed with the team that drafted them and have been very successful. Josh Allen's another one. I suppose you could say Joe Burrow. I mean, Joe Burrow's missed a lot of games, including right now missing a lot of games, but he still had more success than a lot of these other first-round QBs. I mean, that's saying something in a negative way about the other teams. The fact that, you know, some of them, I mean, a lot of these quarterbacks don't have a lot of availability issues, but Burrow has, but still Burrow's been at least taken the Bengals to a Super Bowl, almost two. There just aren't a lot of guarantees anymore with that quarterback position going, because when you draft a QB in the first round, the thought is he's our guy. This is the guy. And the Commanders have two Now, one of them they did not draft. He was a free agent acquisition, but Mariota, he is with the Commanders now, and he will start. You know what's crazy? Also, the last time Mariota started against the Chiefs, Darrelle Revis was playing for the Chiefs. In fact, Darrelle Revis was the guy who could not get the interception or bat down the pass at the least on that touchdown pass Mariota threw to himself. You know who was on the call? I think it was Joe Tessitore. And well, I can't remember the play-by-play, but the color announcer was John Gruden. That was John Gruden's last game as a color broadcaster. That's the last time he's done a game. Let me see if I can look that up. Who were the announcers? Gruden, obviously, and I remember this was a big deal because a lot of people were making a big deal that, oh, Gruden is about to go become the head coach of the Raiders, and he's getting the Chiefs game plan, which I've talked about this many times. In fact, we brought this up recently when Brady and all this talk and controversy about him being available in production meetings and whatnot. I can't find that game. No, there it is. I just found it. Let me see if I can find it through here. But yeah, I mean, listen, Andy Reid will never give the Sean McDonough. Let me be honest. Who is Sean McDonough? How many games has this guy done? Gosh, if he did a lot of the Monday Night Football games back in the day, I just don't remember it very well. But yeah, he and John Gruden were on the call that day. And now you have Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. Those are now your Monday Night Football announcers. The thing about it is, to go back to the Gruden point and to finish that up here, Andy Reid will never give the play calling duty to anyone. He just won't. What do I think about the NBA scandal going on right now? Oh, yeah, with Chauncey Billups and a couple of players. I mean, these guys have money. Like, if you want to gamble, just retire and gamble. Bet on sports. Don't do it while you're coaching or playing. That makes no sense. Why would you do that? Oh, Carson Wentz is running for his life. What is that throw? Holy shit. That might have been the worst 3rd-and-1 play we've seen in quite some time. Kevin O'Connell looks so confused. Like, why did we even choose to run that play? Poor Carson Wentz, man. Yeah. I mean, I hope he wins tonight against the Chargers. And the Chargers bringing back the old uniforms there. Boy, their new uniforms look way better. But I like the all navy blue, dark blue right there. But anyway, Marcus Mariota. That's how much time has passed. When Mariota was the quarterback for the Titans against the Chiefs, Gruden was an analyst, and Darrelle Revis was playing for the Chiefs. So it's been a while. That's not the only player who they've lost. Jayden Daniels is a short-term loss, but a long-term loss. A guy who's done for the season, unfortunately, is their edge guy, Dorrance Armstrong, the former Kansas Jayhawk. Played for the Jayhawks from 2015 to 2018, I believe. He is out for the season with a knee injury and was having a really good season, was on pace to have maybe the best season of his career. He had 5.5 sacks. That was tied with 4 others for 6th most in the league. So he certainly had a chance at getting double-digit sacks, I believe, for the first time in his career. So very unfortunate. You never want to see it. Just saw the news earlier today. L'Jarius Sneed is placed on IR and is going to miss at least 4 games. I mean, that just sucks. You never want to see that for anybody. But yeah, that's just unfortunate. So that is one less player the Chiefs will have to deal with from Washington's defense. Still some good things about that defense that we'll get into later on here on this podcast. If you haven't done so already, please give this podcast a like. Comment below. Let's talk. Let me know your thoughts on this upcoming game and share this live stream if you haven't done so already. Did I see the pregame show where NFL fans were begging the Chargers to beat the Chiefs in the West? I did not. I mean, I suppose that's I mean, if you want anyone to win the West, not name the Chiefs, you're going to have to hope for the Broncos. The Chargers are decimated with their offensive line. I'm picking the Chargers to win tonight because I just don't know what kind of a team Minnesota is. I know last year with Sam Darnold, they won all those games. I think it was 14 games, but with Carson Wentz, I just don't know if that's a team well equipped to have that kind of success. And they're in a very difficult division, maybe the toughest division in football right now. A lot of people would argue last year they were the toughest with the Lions and the Vikings playing for the number one seed at the end of the season. You hardly ever see two division rivals do that. But yeah, I think if you want a team to dethrone the Chiefs, you're going to have to root for the Broncos, not the Chargers. Definitely not the Chargers. Before we move any further, there was one bit of NFL news that came out this week, both yesterday and today, regarding the Pro Football Hall of Fame nominees. As far as head coaches go, Marty Schottenheimer is once again a nominee. Andy Reid was asked about that today, and he gave his endorsement, saying that Schottenheimer is certainly well-deserving of being in the Hall of Fame. Listen, we all love Marty. We all really love Marty, but I don't know. I don't know if Marty Schottenheimer is someone who we can say is a Hall of Famer. A great in the regular season, but the postseason stalls that the Chiefs had, I guess, that's what's preventing him to get into Canton, I think. Would love to see it, but I think there are other coaches who might be more deserving. I don't have the entire list in front of me. As far as modern era nominees, the Chiefs had 10 modern era nominees. Alex Smith, Jamal Charles, Eric Berry. Actually, let me just say who has advanced. In fact, these two guys who advanced played for the Chiefs. They were on the Kansas City Super Bowl 54 team, but they're better known for their time with other teams, and that would be running back Shady McCoy, LaShawn McCoy, and edge linebacker guy Terrell Suggs. Those guys are among the 52 finalists, I believe, 54 finalists, or no, 52 finalists for the modern era nominee list for the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2025 or 2026, technically. So good to see those guys advancing. To tell you the list of guys who did not advance: Alex Smith, Rich Gannon. A little surprise on Rich Gannon there. Still available, still not in the Hall of Fame. Jamal Charles, Priest Holmes, Thomas Jones, Brian Waters, who I feel like is being overlooked. And there's a pick 6 for the Vikings. Is that Isaiah Rodgers? It is Isaiah Rodgers. Oh, Herbert, was he under pressure? I just saw the ball and I saw that go all the way. Brian Waters, man, that guy's, I feel like, a lot of people just look at Pro Bowls because people don't truly know the stats of offensive linemen. And Brian Waters didn't really start getting recognized until Will Shields and Willie Roaf both retired. And I feel Casey Wakeman's kind of the same way. Casey Wakeman, yeah, he was getting blitzed, but I don't think he really dealt with that blitz. I don't think that caused the interception. I think that he was still going to throw it anyway to Ladd McConkey. Boy, great play by Isaiah Rodgers. I think they're looking to see if he secured it. This angle right here I'm looking at, I think he's got his right hand underneath it. Yeah, that's a pick 6. That's a pick 6 for Isaiah Rodgers. That's got to be. I think they're, what's the ref saying? I'm having to read lips right here. I think he just said it's under review. Yeah, it's under review. I think that's a touchdown. The Vikings certainly think it's a touchdown. So yeah, Brian Waters, I just feel like that's one of those guys that maybe is getting overshadowed by some of his other teammates. Patrick Surtain, Eric Berry, those guys are also, they were among the 128 nominees that came out 4 weeks ago. Eric Berry and Jamal Charles, man, those two are really good players, or were great players. The problem with those two is they missed a lot of time due to injuries. And I think that might be the knock on them to not get into the Hall of Fame. So that's just the modern era list of nominees there. As far as senior nominees go, the Chiefs do have 3 guys advancing, and all guys who were well known during their time with the Chiefs. We have Justin Herbert's going back out on the field. Okay, all right. Guess that's not a pick 6. I don't know what they saw that I missed, but okay, that's their call, I guess. So Jim Tyre, and this is the one that's viewed as controversial because of the double murder-suicide, and a lot of people wondering if this is the case of CTE before CTE. was even known or even talked about back then. Otis Taylor, who a lot of people feel like has been overlooked over the years, he's also a nominee who advanced among the 34 senior nominees, and also Albert Lewis. Albert Lewis, also a senior nominee. So the Chiefs have two guys from their Super Bowl 54 team and two guys from their Super Bowl 4 team who have advanced and will be a finalist. Yeah, it's 3rd and 13. So that was not a pick six by Isaiah Rodgers. I thought it was, at least. So can you guys explain like what happened? What did they see? I'm guessing his right hand, because I only looked at one good angle because I'm busy talking to you guys, but I thought he had at least a good hand underneath it. But no, there's a first down there. So the Chargers will keep the football there. We'll see how that goes throughout the podcast. Listen, as far as the nominees go, the Jim Tyre one, he should be in. He definitely should be in. I just feel like the voters, the 50 voters here, how do they feel about it? And I understand we are in a time today where a lot of things are brought to light that may have not been brought to light 10, 15, 20 years ago. And I think domestic violence is a big one. Listen, there have been a lot of things that have been brought to the forefront in our society today. And I think discussions about domestic violence is a big one, and that's being talked about a lot. Here's something I'd be very curious, and I don't know how other teams handle this on their social media. I'm surprised the Chiefs don't promote this. I don't know if teams are told not to say anything on their social media or what the deal is, but the Chiefs don't recognize any of their nominees. And listen, whether it's someone who played for you for just half a season or less than half a season, like Terrell Suggs, or someone that's been a big part of your franchise, like Eric Berry, who's never played for another team before, Albert Lewis, Otis, you just don't see the Chiefs recognize the list of nominees ever. And again, I don't know if that's just the Chiefs or if other teams do it. Otis Taylor, I will say this. I like what Otis did for the Chiefs. It's just crazy that only one offensive player from the Super Bowl 4 team is in the Hall of Fame, and that's Lenny Dawson. It's very difficult to make a case for Otis. As much as I hate to say it, I just think if you're going to look at the other senior nominees, I mean, not a lot of senior nominees get in. So the case for Jim Tyre is far stronger than Otis Taylor and Albert Lewis. I know Neil Smith, he was a senior nominee. He did not advance. One guy who wasn't even a nominee or candidate to begin with, Deron Cherry, that one mind-boggling. Ed Buddy. Ed Buddy not in the Hall of Fame is criminal. I think Ed Buddy is the best Chiefs player not in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, followed by Deron Cherry. And listen, I think Jim Tyre should also be up there on that list, but I don't know. I gave up on Jim Tyre's chance of getting in, but he got very, very close last year. And I had the great honor of speaking to Jan Sinnerud. Jan said he nominated Jim. And I've had also an opportunity to speak to a filmmaker who is actually putting together a documentary. It's actually been in the works for a while now. We will have him on the podcast this season, probably during the bye week. Kevin Patrick Allen, who has been working very closely. He's actually been in contact with Tyre's family, his kids, and they've been very generous enough to interact with Kevin and allow them to be followed by cameras and do the story on Jim. I think they were trying to keep that story going in production when Jim was a finalist last year. Unfortunately, Jim did not become a member of the Hall of Fame. He's got a chance this year. And I know there have been a couple people outside of Kansas City that have been making a case for Jim Tyre. Right now, he is a senior nominee, so we'll see if he'll go. Otis Taylor was a Randy Moss of his day. Yeah. I liked what Otis did. It's just numbers wise compared to some of the other guys, that might be a case against him. And keep one thing in mind. Everyone that's a nominee here I mean, you can make a case for all of them. The senior nominee, not many go in. And I've said this for a long time. And maybe this would have allowed Otis Taylor to have been in by now. Maybe even some other former Chiefs. But how many guys went in last year to the Hall of Fame? Only 4. That is a small number of guys. Listen, I'm not saying make this a participation award and put everyone in. No, I think you have to be great at what you did in order to get in. But having 4 go in is criminally low. Listen, I truly do believe that all of these players deserve to be able to experience the honor and the moment of getting into the Hall of Fame before they pass. I mean, listen, look at guys like Belichick and Andy Reid. They're up there in age, and I certainly hope both of those coaches get a chance to see their names go into the Hall of Fame. Because the rule is you got to be away from the NFL for 5 years. Belichick's been out for a couple years now. Andy Reid obviously still coaching. Tom Brady's been out for 2 or 3 years. Still has to wait, which I kind of think is a little lame. But I'm just looking at this the list of nominees here. I really hope Jim Tyre gets in. I know it may not have that feel-good story to it because his life did end on a really bad note, but as far as his football accomplishments go, he should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And I think the Pro Football Hall of Fame needs to expand the number of entries every year. It's got to at least be 10 guys. Because you really do have guys, even from the 80s and the 70s, the 60s, guys who should be in who are not in. I mean, we've already talked about a couple of them from Kansas City side, but this is one of those things that I think needs to be reviewed by the league. And there should be more guys that get considered for the Pro Football Hall of Fame to get in, because last year with just 4 guys, that feels very little to me. And I think that number needs to change because the greats not only deserve to get in, the retired players should be able to see themselves go in if they're worthy of it. And I think in being able to make that happen, you got to expand the number of entrants for the Hall of Fame. And I think 10 is the right number for that. We're going to take a quick timeout and give a shout out to our newest sponsor, DraftKings Sportsbook. Missouri, get ready. The wait is almost over. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is coming to the Show Me State. New Missouri customers can download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. And when we go live, just place a $5 bet to unlock $300 in bonus bets. Starting November 17, you can create your DraftKings Sportsbook app in Missouri and get ready for launch day on December 1st. DraftKings Sportsbook brings everything you need to elevate your game day, including live in-game betting, lightning fast payouts, and endless ways to get in on the action, all right from your phone. And when we officially go live in Missouri, you'll be betting on the Sportsbook app trusted by millions. Safe, secure, and has fast money withdrawals. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and grab $300 in bonus bets with just a $5 bet when we go live on December 1st in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
And there's a touchdown for the Chargers. Herbert got knocked back a bit there. Kind of lost his footing. Yeah, that drive's early on. Pick 6 and got called back, and it ended in a touchdown for the Chargers. So, might be one of those games for the Vikings. Hopefully not, but still plenty of time. But boy, their defense just got destroyed on that drive. Hopefully the Chiefs can do a lot of that Monday night when they play host to the Washington Commanders on ESPN. Joe Buck, Troy Aikman going to be announcing this game. Referee for this one, Brad Allen. He's had quite a week. He had that game against the Broncos and the Giants, where a lot of people were not happy in Denver with the officiating and with the walk-off field goal the Broncos had in this one. a bunch of Broncos players celebrated, and Brad Allen doing his job that he has to do, signaling the end of the game. And in the midst of the celebration, while Allen is making that signal, I think you go like this to signal that it's the end of the game. And a couple of the Broncos players, oh, he missed a PAT because they pushed it back. Oh, he made it. Never mind. That was really close. That was really, really close. So there were several players that actually ran into the referee, or a couple. You could tell players running into him. I don't know how many exactly, but he was swarmed with the players celebrating, and it wasn't like a vicious shove. Listen, he gently pushed Justin Strnad out of the way. Because let's be honest, you got a guy in pads and a helmet running into you celebrating. Yeah, you would push that guy out of the way too. I mean, if you're just walking down the street and someone just walks right into you and their body physically still leaning on you, the first thing you're going to do is push off. Why wouldn't you? That's what everyone would do. It's just a little weird to me that people are thinking that Brad Allen just walked up to Strnad and viciously shoved him for no reason. That's not what happened. Here's where things got dramatic here is Dre Greenlaw, formerly of the 49ers and now with the Broncos. He ran up to Brad Allen after the game-winning field goal, after Allen pushed Strnad, and apparently threatened him. He appealed the suspension. The appeal upheld, and Greenlaw is gonna have to sit out one game. I think it's against Dallas. That's going to be an interesting one, considering Dallas offensively, they're actually playing really well. So yeah, Brad Allen's had quite a week. Listen, I think Dre Greenlaw was out of line here. Now, what was said, we don't know. Referees are obviously mic'd up, so certainly the audio's got to be out there somewhere. You can't be following the referee and doing that. And you got to understand, I mean, if you're Sean Payton, you have to be telling your team, hey, if you're going to celebrate all you want, but don't run into the damn referee. It doesn't matter how much you hate the officials. Yeah, he threw the flag after the game. He still had to, but it was kind of funny. Like the way he did it, like in the midst of the celebration. You have to avoid the officials at all costs. I mean, you listen, if you have the ball and you're running and you run into them accidentally, that's a whole different story. This is happening in the midst of a celebration, which should not have happened. But neither here nor there. That's the kind of week Brad Allen's had. A lot of Broncos fans are not happy about it. Chiefs are heavy favorites in this one. They have the second biggest spread for week 8. Last week, they had the biggest spread. This week, the second biggest. The biggest is Tennessee, Indianapolis. That is a 14.5 spread. The Chiefs are 12.5 point betting favorites. The money line is minus 800. That's huge. And the Commanders at plus 550. When you look at the injury report for this one, both teams have a long injury report here. A lot of guys did not practice. Some of it is rest or personal or related, so nothing too bad. Laramie Tunsil, Daron Payne, Von Miller, Zach Ertz, all of them got a rest day. Jonathan Jones did not practice due to a personal reason. Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel, their two wide receivers, both practiced today. Neither of them played last week. Terry McLaurin has missed 4 games. Deebo Samuel has missed 1 game. McLaurin's been out with a quad injury and Samuel out with a heel injury. So having those guys back is very significant. Trey Smith and Kareem Hunt, they did not practice. Kareem Hunt's dealing with a knee bruise. Andy Reid said it's nothing serious. Trey Smith dealing with the back injury. Andy Reid made it seem like that's not very serious either. So that sounds like good news on that front. He said that Kareem Hunt's going to be fine. So it sounds like Kareem Hunt will play. This might just be a precaution. Wouldn't surprise me if Kareem was limited in practice the rest of the week. We'll see. There is a little bit of an update on Josh Simmons. Of course, he has not been practicing due to a personal matter. Andy Reid did say today that the communication has been positive and that Josh Simmons is taking care of family. still did not provide a timetable when asked about that. But it sounds like it's good news on the Josh Simmons front. The Chiefs look like, I mean, listen, it's a little early in the week, so we'll see. But it does sound like he might not play for a third straight game. I know the first time where he missed out, that was against Detroit. That one happened very suddenly, the day of the game, or maybe the night before. We're not sure exactly when he had to leave for California. But the good news is he's all good. They say communication has been positive. And he's not on IR yet. If he was on IR, that means they think he would miss at least 4 games. We're coming up on a third game here, and I understand the first one just kind of happened suddenly. They didn't really know what to do at the time. If they're not putting him on IR, which they usually make those moves on a Saturday for the Chiefs this week, that Sunday is going to be their Saturday. I think they would have done it by now. I really do. I know Esapole was just let go by the Jets. A lot of Chiefs fans were upset and surprised that he was let go. Maybe he comes back to Kansas City's practice squad. We'll see. But Esapole available, is that someone they bring in? And if they feel like Simmons will miss long term, I think they would have done it by now. But I guess that question would still need to be posed at this time until he comes back. A lot of guys on the injury report, not going to go through all of it. The good news is Jawaan Taylor did practice. He left the game early due to a knee injury against the Raiders, but he practiced in full today for the Chiefs. So that is great news for Kansas City and for Jawaan Taylor on that front. Never thought I'd say that. Jawaan Taylor. I mean, you want that Jawaan Taylor, the guy that's shown up at right tackle for you over the last, 3 or 4 games. He has certainly played much better for the Kansas City Chiefs. Head coach of the Commanders, Dan Quinn, a very familiar name, the former head coach of the Atlanta Falcons, then went to be the defensive coordinator of the Cowboys for 3 years, and now has been with the Commanders as their head coach since 2024. Their offensive coordinator, a very familiar name for Patrick Mahomes, Cliff Kingsbury, the former Texas Tech head coach and the guy who recruited Patrick Mahomes to TTU, also the former head coach of the Arizona Cardinals. He just didn't have the success as a coach at Texas Tech, but found a way to get a head coaching job in the NFL. That didn't make sense to me. He was after getting let go by the Cardinals, he was the senior offensive assistant in 2023 for USC, and then he got back into being a coordinator for the Commanders. He's done a lot of college coaching before Texas Tech. Coached at Houston, coached at Texas A&M. Coaching their offense. So he's been coaching a lot in the state of Texas. The state of Texas is very familiar with Cliff Kingsbury. He also played on the Patriots Super Bowl 38 team. I believe that was the first Super Bowl of 6 that Brady and the Patriots won with that dynasty there. Total offense ranked 13th. Their running game is 2nd. Passing is 25th. Scoring is 9th. Just over 25 points a game. Third down, they rank 24th in that category. Their red zone, 2nd best in the NFL behind Philadelphia. I do want to go back to the rushing stat right there where they're 2nd. That's good. The problem is Jaden Daniels has been responsible for a good portion of that as well, and he is not playing in this game here. So that is a little misleading going into Monday Night Football. Like I mentioned, Jaden Daniels is not going to play in this one. Marcus Mariota will start. He's already had 2 starts this season, 3 total appearances, including last week. 35 of 58 for 426 yards on the season, 3 touchdowns and 2 picks this year for Mariota. He's also been stacked 5 times on the season. Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt has rushed for 211 yards. He's got a touchdown and also 60 receiving yards on the season. He's had 94 yards in the last 2 games. He's been held to 3.1 yards per carry against Chicago and Dallas combined. So he has certainly struggled as of late. And with the Commanders' interior offensive line, not good when it comes to run blocking, that could be a problem for the Commanders in this game against Kansas City, who they have not allowed a running back to run for 100 yards in 33 straight games, including the playoffs, which is just impressive. That's how long it's been for Kansas City. Like I mentioned earlier, Deebo Samuel, Terry McLaurin, they are both expected to play in this game. They both practiced today, which was great news for the Commanders, especially when you lose Jaden Daniels for Monday night. You lose your best defensive player, Dorrance Armstrong, for the season. McLaurin has missed the last 4 games due to a quad injury. Samuel missed last week's game due to a heel injury. Both are expected to play Monday night. Deebo Samuel, who the Chiefs are familiar with, he's played in the Super Bowl for the 49ers. Samuel got 34 catches on the season for 315 yards, leading the team in those 2 categories. Got 3 touchdown grabs on the season as well. Zach Ertz, the former Philadelphia Eagle and Arizona Cardinal, he's got 23 receptions for 229 yards, 4 touchdown grabs for him. That is the most on the team for the Commanders. They've also got some speedsters on that depth right there. Luke McCaffrey, one of their return specialists, Jalen Lane, the rookie who they drafted out of the 4th round, part of that receiving core as well, along with Chris Moore. So some names to look out for, especially some speedsters with that wide receiver room. They've got an offensive line featuring a pair of former Chiefs, Andrew Wiley and Nick Allegretti. Andrew Wiley playing right tackle for the Commanders, was a starter at one point, now is a backup. And Nick Allegretti, he's listed as a right guard, but was a left guard for Kansas City here. He filled in. So Nick Allegretti was one of those 5 backup offensive linemen that started Super Bowl 55, which obviously was not very good. And Allegretti rebounded a couple of years ago where Joe Thuney got injured. Allegretti had to step in, and Allegretti did a great job in the AFC title game and was able to do a great job once again against the 49ers in the Super Bowl. I mean, what a story for that guy. Because, yeah, the AFC Championship game was against Baltimore. And he also played great in the Super Bowl against the 49ers. So for him to have that struggle in Super Bowl 55 and then bounce back a few years later to help the Chiefs pull off a back-to-back Super Bowl winning season, that was good for Allegretti to be able to help the Chiefs finish strong when an All-Pro went down in Joe Thuney there. They've got some good players and some bad players on this offensive line here. Laremy Tunsil, one of the best offensive linemen in the league today. Easily one of the best, a top 10 left tackle for sure. They've got a rookie right tackle who the Chiefs were looking at this year in the draft. He is struggling immensely, and I'm talking about Josh Connerly Jr. He is tied for the 4th most pressures allowed this year with 24. He's tied 2nd most sacks allowed with 4. Tied with several players, including a former Chief in Orlando Brown. A lot of former Chiefs being brought up when it comes to offensive line conversations. But yeah, when you look at Josh Connerly Jr., he's expected to face George Karlaftis. And George Karlaftis, not a lot of sacks this season, but a lot of pressures on the year for Karlaftis. So this is a good opportunity for Karlaftis to go have a big game against a struggling rookie and Josh Connerly Jr. Tyler Badaj, also part of this offensive line, a below-average center, former Cowboy. I mentioned the run blocking with the interior offensive line is not very good, and this is where the Chiefs could have a really good game and not allow them to go off. Because I feel like people are wondering, what could they rely on in this game with Jaden Daniels on? I still think they throw the ball a lot because their interior offensive line is not very good. You might want to utilize the receivers you've got coming back in Scary Terry and Deebo Samuel. That might be where Marcus Mariota could maybe see some success in this game. But their offensive line, outside of Laremy Tunsil, not very good. And this is a Commanders team that did some good things on offense last year, but the offensive line certainly has been a struggle, especially at the right tackle position. That has not at all gone the way they would like for it to. And to think that Josh Simmons, and I know he's not playing right now, but man, when Simmons was on the field for the Chiefs, boy, he has been playing lights out at the left tackle spot. And thankfully, Jalen Moore is doing just fine filling in for him. So certainly lucked out that teams felt like Simmons was not going to pan out, and they went with Josh Connerly Jr. I thought there was a good chance Connerly Jr. was going to come to KC. Glad that's not the case, given how he's doing right now. Listen, could it be possible he would maybe play better under Andy Reid and Andy Heck? Maybe, I don't know. But given what we're seeing now, I'm glad that's not the case for KC, to say the least. Commanders defense, coordinated by Joe Witt Jr., coached defense for Green Bay from 2008 to 2018, a long time there. Also coached defense in Cleveland, Atlanta, and Dallas, and now a defensive coordinator for the first time since 2024. Won Super Bowl 45 with Green Bay. That was Aaron Rodgers' only Super Bowl appearance, which is crazy to think that would have been his only one at the time. But that is the state of his career. He's got to playing well, though. So we'll see what happens. Total defense, not very good. Near the bottom, 27th in that category. Rushing, 21st. Passing, 25th. Scoring is 21st, over 24 points per game. They've allowed teams to convert 39% of the time on third down. That's not good. That's 19th. As far as red zone defense goes, above average, 13th in that category. And I mentioned earlier, their best defensive player, Dorrance Armstrong, former Jayhawk, out for the season with a knee injury. He had 5.5 sacks on the year. That was tied for 6th most with 4 others. So certainly a tough situation there. But they do have Von Miller. We all know who Von Miller is. Longtime Denver Bronco, won Super Bowl 50 with the Broncos. Won Super Bowl MVP, as a matter of fact, in that game. That was Peyton Manning's final game in the NFL. And then he went on to win a Super Bowl with the Rams, played a little bit for Buffalo, has 4 sacks this season in 7 games. This guy's 36 years old, still has got a good motor on him. So good on Von Miller. Keeps getting older, but finds a way to still play at a good level. He's had 3 straight games with a sack. The last 2 games, he's had half of a sack. Each of the last 2 games, that is. So Von Miller just playing at a good level. For the Commanders, and with Dorrance Armstrong gone, they're probably going to rely on Miller even more. Bobby Wagner having a great season, 73 tackles. That is the second most behind Miami's Jordan Brooks. He's also got 5 tackles for a loss. Some other guys on that front 7 there, Frankie Louvu, he's got 4 tackles for a loss. Jacob Martin, Daron Payne, I mentioned him on the injury report. Those are guys to be aware of on that defensive front. Their secondary, this is where they really struggle here. There's Marshawn Lattimore, former defensive rookie of the year, 4-time Pro Bowler with New Orleans, struggling with Washington. I remember a lot of rumors about him being on the move last year or the year before, and I thought for sure Marshawn Lattimore would make his way to Kansas City. Boy, again, maybe things would have been different if he played under the Chiefs versus under Joe Witt Jr., but boy, he's had a really rough go at it this year. And then Mike Sainristil, 2 picks on the season. He had them in back-to-back weeks against Atlanta and the Chargers, but not great in coverage overall this year. The defense has just 3 takeaways, and Sainristil is responsible for 2 of them. Their rookie, who they drafted in the second round out of Ole Miss, Trey Amos, not a bad season, average cover corner for him. Safety Jeremy Reeves, a good cover safety, but Quan Martin, the other safety they've got, bad cover safety. Great in blitz packages, though, so look for him to try to go after Patrick Mahomes in this game. Otherwise, if he's out there deep down the field, Patrick Mahomes might pick on him, or maybe against Sainristil or Lattimore in this game. So certainly a couple of guys to be aware of that Mahomes might pick on in the secondary. Their special teams, Larry Izzo, a 4-time Super Bowl champion, 3 as a player with the Patriots, their first 3 with New England. Not the only. You also have Cliff Kingsbury. He won a championship with Brady and the Pats there. So not the only guy. Larry Izzo, also familiar with that group. 3-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro. He's part of the Patriots All-Dynasty group. Won a Super Bowl as a coach with the Giants. That was their second Super Bowl win against the Patriots, if you remember that rivalry there for a little bit between Brady and Eli Manning. He coached for the Giants, I mentioned, also for Houston, Seattle, and now with Washington coaching special teams. Some positives and some negatives with the special teams. Matt Gay, their kicker, 10 of 14, missed 3 field goals from weeks 2 and 3. Missed 1 field goal that's less than 50 yards. The other 3 misses are from 50 yards deep. Missed 2 weeks ago in a 25-24 loss against Chicago. All 18 of his PATs he's made. Tress Way, one of the best punters in the NFL, top 10 in punt and net punt average. He's allowed just 39 punt return yards on the season. That is pretty damn good for Tress Way, and also the special teams defense there. Ariza has allowed just 36 return yards So some of the best punting in the NFL you'll see on Monday night. As far as return specialists go, this is going to be probably a key for the Commanders in this one, especially with Jayden Daniels out. You're definitely going to want the special teams unit to give your offense great field position. If you're the Commanders, Luke McCaffrey, I mentioned earlier with the receiving group, I said he's got some speed, and I wasn't kidding. He's got the second most kick return yards on the season, 713 kick return yards. And their punt returner, Jalen Lane, he's got 194 punt return yards. That is the fifth most on the year. He's got a 90-yard punt return touchdown against the Raiders back in week 3. That's the second longest punt return of the season. He's one of 6 punt returners with a touchdown this season. So special teams, that might be where, if you're hoping for a snowball's chance for a miracle, special teams is going to have its best game of the season, and they've been great all year long, especially with the punting and the returning. Got to have that in this game. Certainly got to have that. Marcus Mariota, he's going to have to put on the second half playoff cape like he did against the Chiefs back in the day. Remember that was Patrick Mahomes' rookie season. Alex Smith's final game with the Kansas City Chiefs. By the way, Eric Fisher's banging the drum for this one. I was really hoping it was Derek Johnson. Get revenge for the what was it? The forward progress. I made a joke online. This picked up real well with the Chiefs haters who can't detect sarcasm. I made this joke that the Chiefs now have the referees on their side, so there's not going to be any BS forward progress going in Mariota's favor. So we'll see how that goes. Listen, I think the Commanders will be able to do some things in this game with special teams and offense. The defense, losing Dorrance Armstrong is significant. You're relying on Von Miller to be in his old form. But, man, I don't know if that's going to make up for that bad secondary there. So I think Patrick Mahomes is going to, once again, go out there and line him up. And I think that'll translate to Mahomes earning himself Offensive Player of the Month for the month of October in the AFC. So we'll see how that goes. But I think Mahomes is going to have another good game. I think the Chiefs receiving core, with having all their receivers available, Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, Travis Kelce, doing well. Getting more involved. Yeah, I think Kansas City's offense is going to be just fine against this Commanders defense here. And I think at the end of the day, this is going to be a big win for Kansas City. I'm going to go 38-17 Chiefs in this one here. I'm going to go 38-17 Kansas City. I think the Chiefs, at the end of the day, they're just firing on all cylinders, especially on the offensive side. Defenses just have no answer for the Chiefs, and with your biggest pass rush missing, that's just going to give Patrick Mahomes more opportunities to have a great game. So I'm going 38-17 Kansas City in this one here. Yes, I do think Terry McLaurin and Deebo Samuel are going to play in this one. They both practice today in full, so it sounds like they're trending to play on Monday Night Football. Yeah, Bobby Wagner, one of the very few good players on that football team for them right now. They're missing some guys with Armstrong and also with Jayden Daniels not playing, but the Chiefs certainly not going to overlook Marcus Mariota given what he once did, and Andy Reid even noted that in his press conference today. But I'm going 38-17 Kansas City. That is my score prediction. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Chiefs Zone Podcast. My name is Farzin Vousoughian. I appreciate you guys joining me for this episode of the Chiefs Zone Podcast. If you enjoyed this podcast, please share it. Let your friends know. The archive version on Apple, Spotify, Facebook, YouTube, X will all be available in just a few moments. So stay tuned for that if you miss any part of the live stream. Otherwise, I will talk to you all Red Friday Q&A live chat. That's going to take place Friday, 5 p.m. Central Time, and then Monday at 3 p.m. Central Time. We will do our pregame live chat. Join me for that. Then we'll have our halftime live stream as well as our post-game live stream. My name is Farzin Vousoughian. Appreciate you guys joining me for this episode of the Chiefs Zone Podcast. I will talk to you all on Friday. Peace out.